What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. My name is Nicole. I'm a person in recovery. My sobriety date is July 13th of 2015. And tonight we are going to talk about unsolicited advice about MAT. Unsolicited advice about your suboxone treatment. So if y'all don't mind, come on in. Okay, come on in. If you would, please share the video. Okay, share the video. Share the video, like the video, and invite your friends. Share the video, like the video, invite your friends. Everyone is welcome here at Real Talk Recovery. Real Talk Recovery is a recovery support group for men and women who are in active addiction or already sober or trying to get sober, who want to support each other and be, a positive influence on each other's lives. We meet every single day at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Facebook and on YouTube. I will share the video out to all the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and hope that's okay. If you are somebody who owns a Facebook group, would you please allow me to share our groups in your group? It would really help out a lot. So that way, the more people who are on MAT who need our support will know how to find us. Okay. All I'm doing right now is just sharing these out, like I said, and I hope you guys don't mind. Everybody's welcome here. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not trying to poach anybody's followers. We're just doing a live stream recovery meeting. Okay. I know some people get bent out of shape when you share your videos in their groups, and all I'm trying to do is share the group so people can join us and do the meeting with us. So come on in. Let me know if you're on our Facebook side or our YouTube side. Drop your name and your sobriety date in the comment section. Okay. If you're not sober already, that's okay. Drop your name and 2 things that you're grateful for in the comment section. I'll go ahead and tell you guys what I'm grateful for. I am grateful for my boss, Austin. He actually taught me how to make thumbnails when we were on vacation to Tennessee. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Ashley. He taught me how to make thumbnails, and so that's why y'all are getting these professional thumbnails on my videos now. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like they look so good. So I'm grateful for my boss, Austin, and I'm grateful for technology, baby. Because of technology, I get to connect with you guys every single day here on the good old internet. Hey, Ashley, I see you, girl. Hey, Luna. Hey, wonderful mom. Hey, Missy. Hey, Manda. Hey, Christy. Hey, Candy. Hey, Missy. Hey, Manda. Hey, Christy. Hey, Candy. Hey, y'all. Hey, Colin. Hey, Amy. Hey, Dan. What's up, you guys? Come on in. Come on in, you guys. So we're going to start out today's group with a reading, with a meditation before we get started. So y'all come on in. You're not missing anything. I'm grateful for being clean and grateful for my family. Amen, sister. Amen. Amy says, my sobriety date is 9/1/18, and I'm on the YouTube side. Hey, Candy says 10/12/18. I'm grateful for Nicole. Thank you. Christy says, I'm on the YouTube side and I'm on a mat at the moment trying to wean off. Welcome, Christy. So am I. I'm trying to wean too, girl. So we're in the same, we are in the same area. And you're not alone. I'm going to be making a lot of videos about my suboxone taper. Y'all are going to be look out for those. I'm also going to be making videos about prison. I got a new video dropping about prison tonight. It's going to be all about my first day in prison, what it was like, how I felt, all that stuff. And I cannot wait for y'all to see the thumbnail because it's so cool. I'm grateful to have a place to live and to be off methadone. Hey, good job, Dan. Congratulations on getting off. That's a huge accomplishment. That's a huge accomplishment. Believe me, I know. Okay, so come on, you guys. We're going to read the meditation while everybody's coming in. If you're just coming in, please do me a solid and share the video, like the video, and invite your friends. Tag people that you know that you think might be interested. Like I said, share it and invite them over. Let them know we're doing a recovery meeting. Tonight's recovery meeting is going to be all about unsolicited advice. Okay, so I know you guys, we've all had that one family member or that husband or wife who says, don't you think you've been on suboxone long enough? Don't you think you've been on methadone long enough? You know, being on suboxone or methadone isn't sober, right? We've all been there, okay? And so that's what tonight's meeting is going to be about. It's going to be about unsolicited advice. Why can't they see this? Hold on. Oh, I know. Edit privacy. Why did I have it on? Sorry, guys. Sorry, somebody just commented and said they couldn't see the video. I fixed it. Stupid me. I had put it on friends only, like a dumbass. So let's delete this. Hey, Dan. Hey, Layla. What's up, girl? Yay, I can see my Facebook comments. Hey, Alicia, I can see y'all's comments on here. Good. That's why you guys haven't been able to see my videos, is because I had them on freaking private. I had them on friends only. So welcome to my Facebook people. What's up? Okay, if you're from Facebook, let me know you're from Facebook. If you're from YouTube, let me know you're from YouTube. I'm so freaking glad that you guys are here and that I can see you guys. Yay! So come on in. All right? Hell yeah, man. I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I didn't notice that I had it on friends only, y'all. Friends only. Okay, so okay, I'm thinking. Like I said, tonight we're going to talk about unsolicited advice. Okay. All right, so let's read our meditation first, okay? So, night after sleepless nights, I tossed and turned and worried. Why couldn't I sleep? What was the matter with me? My life was stressful, but no more so than usual. I tried hot milk, reading in bed, soft music, even a visit to the doctor, but I still couldn't get more than a few hours of sleep. I was in a panic. I spoke about my concerns in a meeting, and another member related a similar problem. What had happened to him was to accept the situation fully and admit that he was powerless to make himself sleep. In retrospect, he said his sleeplessness had been a blessing. It had kept him too tired to get in trouble. I realized that the same was true for me. Instead of worrying compulsively about a loved one's sobriety, watchful and nosy despite many attempts to mind my own business, lately I've been too tired to be overly involved in anything that wasn't my concern. I had often prayed to be released from my obsessive worry, and now in an unexpected way, my prayers seem to have been answered. Today's reminder. My higher power's gifts sometimes take unusual forms. Perhaps something I regard as a problem is really a form of assistance. All right. So let everybody know on TikTok that we're live. And then we'll start talking. And y'all can come up and share. You know that, right? All right, you guys. I know you have all had that one family member, that one friend, that one husband or wife who says, don't you think you've been on suboxone long enough? Don't you think you've been on methadone long enough? Isn't it about time you've gotten off? You know that's not recovery. Well, if you've experienced this, come and join us right now. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at Real Talk Recovery with Nicole, and we're going to be talking about unsolicited advice about our medication-assisted treatment. Okay. Now that book is called, it's from The Courage to Change, y'all. The Courage to Change meditation book. My husband actually got it. It's his mother-in-law actually got it for us a while ago. Join us on Facebook and YouTube, and it's just Real Talk Recovery. Sorry, guys. I don't mean, I have to do this because I want everybody to be able to know to come and hang out. Well, tonight's topic was picked by Alicia. Tonight's topic was picked by Alicia. So I'm going to guess that Alicia has probably had the same experience, and she's probably going through this right now, or, something like that. Nikki Udre. Okay. All right. Let me get the link too, so that way if y'all want to come up and share, y'all can come up and share too. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And I expect y'all to come up and share tonight. I don't want to have no crickets. The other day last night we had crickets. Just Cece came up, I think. Okay. Let me get the link and put it in the chat. And I can see all y'all's comments. So no matter what part you're on, Facebook or YouTube, I see your comments. And I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, let me put the StreamYard's link. There we go. I'm going to pin it up at the top. There you go. You just click that StreamYard's link and it'll let you come on up here. Okay, guys? So anyone is welcome to come up and share. It doesn't matter how long you've been sober or if you're not sober at all. It doesn't matter. Anyone can come up and share. Okay? We support you no matter what. All right? All right. So unsolicited advice about medication-assisted treatment. How many of you guys, first of all, let's get a round of applause or hands for those of you guys that are on medication-assisted treatment. How many of you guys are on suboxone, Sublocade, Vivitrol, or Methadone? I am. And let me just tell you guys this. For the longest time, I was so ashamed to talk about being on suboxone because I was brought up in a 12-step program, okay? And the 12-step program that I was brought up in is AA, and it was an abstinence-only program. So down here in Arkansas, whenever I was trying to get sober for the last 10 years, the only thing that I ever was taught about was abstinence-based recovery, okay? I was never taught about any other kind of recovery. And so when I went into treatment for the last time, now mind you guys, I've been to 6 different rehabs, okay? On my last rehab, it wasn't even offered to me to get on MAT. It was when I got out of treatment and my husband had came and picked me up and told me, hey, Nicole, I got put on Suboxone. And I remember when he told me that, I was so angry with him because I thought, why did you get on that? Are you just trying to still use? Are you just trying to stay getting high, right? Because that's what I thought about MAT. I thought using MAT was a cop-out. I thought it was the easy way out, all right? Because I was uneducated and ignorant, and I didn't know. Well, my husband told me about it, and about 3 or 4 days later, I talked to my doctor and my psychiatrist, and I decided to get on MAT also. And that started my journey with Suboxone, okay? And that was 6 years ago, all right? When I first got on Suboxone, I told my sponsor, and that was basically all, and a couple of my friends. My sponsor made me work really hard for the next year. And so I just kept my nose down and worked hard on my sobriety and working my steps with my sponsor. Well, after a year, I asked if I could share my story. And that's when I started sharing my story openly about being on Suboxone. And that was back in 2016. In 2016, when you're sharing about being on MAT, let me see. Daddy Mariah, are you still in here? Well, she can call him, honey. She can call him. Go ahead, call him, honey. It doesn't matter. Please ignore that. Like, if you guys see something like that, there. I'll just block her. If you guys see somebody like that, comment something like that, just ignore it, because we're all in here trying to talk about recovery, and we're all in here trying to help each other. And when we pay attention to people that are trying to leave negative comments, all it does is get everybody else in the comment section talking about it, and it distracts us from what we're trying to do, which is actually help each other. You dig? You dig. Okay? Okay. In fact, let me go ahead and see what's going on. Let me see. Cindy Briggs. Let me do this real fast. Hold on, guys. And I'm not upset with you guys. I just want y'all to know there's going to be people that come in here that act like that. Cindy, you got a wrench. You know what to do. Okay? Diana, you know what to do. Okay. So, okay, where was I at now? Okay, yeah. So that was in 2016, you guys. And so talking about being in recovery, on Suboxone back in 2016, there was not a lot of people talking about it. I was probably one of the only recovery content creators on Facebook talking about being on Suboxone openly. Every other person was an abstinence-based person. There was Rich Walters, there was Chandelier, there was Richie Weber, there was Drew Hicks, there was Andrew Hager, there was a bunch of different men that were in recovery sharing their story, but no women that were sharing their story really, and no women especially that were on MAT. So when I started sharing my story, I was one of the only people talking about being on MAT. And it was hard because I got a lot of backlash for it, and I got shamed for it a lot. I got told I'm not sober. I got told I'm not in recovery. I got told I don't even deserve to share my story. I've heard it all, honey. I've heard it all. Okay. So Andrew Hager was one of the only people in the recovery community on Facebook that supported me. He actually had me on his radio show. We did lives together. I worked for him for a little while, helping him do his memes and everything like that. And so he was one of the only people that supported me. Okay. And I shared about being on MAT. So I was fortunate enough, you guys, and don't forget, if you want to come up and share, hit that link at the top and you can come up and share. I was fortunate enough that my husband is also on MAT. So he's the one who actually had to help me learn about how it could be beneficial, because my mind was so closed. The only thing I could see is what I have been told for so long. And I had been told that it was a crutch, that it was switching addictions, that you might as well be doing heroin. Don't you know it's the same thing? That's what I had been told. Now, let me tell you guys what I learned, because once I got on Suboxone, I was like, you know what? I'm going to learn everything I can about Suboxone. So that way, when people try to step to me and tell me that I'm not in recovery because I'm on Suboxone, I'm going to have all the information. And so I went out and learned everything I could about being on Suboxone. So that way I could fight those people back with the knowledge. Okay. And so first and foremost, there's a huge difference between being addicted and being dependent onto a medication. And I didn't know this. I didn't know that there was a difference. Did you guys know that? Did you know that there's a difference between being addicted to something and then being dependent on it? All right. I didn't know that. I thought addiction and dependency were the same thing. What I learned is that addiction is characterized by the obsession to use or do an act over and over and over again, even though it's causing you negative consequences, causing you harm, hurting people around you. It's that obsession, right? And addiction is highlighted by the obsession, like the obsession to use, and then manipulation, lying, cheating, stealing, using our bodies to get drugs, overtaking our medication, doing anything and everything we can. Alicia, good. I'm proud of you, girl. Everything and anything and everything we can to get that substance into our body. We will go to any lengths. Okay. That is what addiction is. Now, let's talk about dependency. Many people are dependent on medication. And this is how I want you guys to look at it. I want you to think about your mental health. I want you to think about, yes, no cap. So can I be dependent on drugs and not addicted? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I want you guys to think about being on your medication for mental health. How many of you guys have to take mental health medication? I do. I have to take 2 different kinds of mental health medication. I take Lexapro and I take Wellbutrin. Without my Lexapro and Wellbutrin, I am off the chain. I am not in a good place, right? It helps keep me sane. It helps keep my mind healthy. And because my mind is healthy, I do healthy things like act right instead of act wrong. Okay? And so suboxone, methadone, Vivitrol, Sublocade, these medications are just like being on a mental health medication. Okay? These medications are they're just as important as being on your mental health medication, because the disease of addiction centers in our mind. Okay? It is a disorder of the brain. All right? It is just as important as our mental health medication. It is part of our mental health. Okay? Staying sober is part of our mental health. All right? So I'm sure many of you guys are dependent on your mental health medications. Have anyone in here ever tried to stop taking their mental health medication cold turkey? Just drop it like a hot tamale? Anybody? I did. I didn't know. I tried to stop taking my Lexapro 2 Januaries ago cold turkey, and I thought I was going to die. It was the worst experience of my whole entire life. It made me feel like my head was detached from my body and spinning around like a top. And it was just woo, 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 woo. It was so bad. Okay? That is what it is like when we try. That's what it's like when you try to jump off your mental health medication, or when you try to jump off your medication-assisted treatment. We have to taper, right? And so a lot of people will say things like, oh, well, you have withdrawal, so that means you're addicted. Honey, I have withdrawal from anything that my body becomes dependent to, okay? My brain becomes dependent to. And so using the old, if you have withdrawal symptoms, then you're addicted, that doesn't work anymore, okay? Okay? The worst withdrawals I've ever been through are withdrawals off of my mental health medication. Okay. And many men and women have to take mental health medication. Hey, Jill, what's up? I'm glad you're in here, girl. So just because you go through a withdrawal because you stop taking a medication doesn't mean that you're addicted to it. It means that you're dependent. Okay. Now, what would characterize addiction is if you stop taking that medication because you overtook it, or you sold it, or you were trading it for something else, right? That would be an addictive behavior, okay? And that's what changes it. That's what would show you, okay, maybe I need to step away from this. Maybe I need to work on getting off this because now I'm overtaking it. Now I'm selling it. Now I'm buying it off the streets. Now I'm trading my body for it, okay? So Candace says brain zaps. Yes. Candy says not by choice. And I remember that, Nicole, and it was bad for her. Yes. I was actually trying to work at Hallmark when I jumped off the Lexapro cold turkey, y'all. And I had my little earphones in. I was trying to listen to the radio, and I literally felt like I was going to fall out. And another thing that it did to me was it made me have suicidal thoughts. And one thing I've never really struggled with is thoughts of suicide. But whenever I tried to jump off that Lexapro, that's what happened. I had thoughts of suicide. Right? How about caffeine withdrawals? Yeah, caffeine is a drug we become dependent to too. What about sugar? Sugar is a drug that we are all dependent on. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? Hey, Tim, what's up? Love you. See what I'm saying? Like, there's no one that's not dependent on something, okay? Everybody is dependent on something. Do any of you guys have such a clean diet that you're not dependent on sugar, that you're not dependent on caffeine? I mean, if you do, damn, I want to be like you, because that is amazing. But that's just not the story for me. And that's not the story for millions and millions and millions and other people across the world. So whenever I got on Suboxone, I had this misconception that, hey, Bianca, that it was just trading addictions, right? And that I might as well be doing heroin. That was another comment that I would get. You might as well be doing heroin. Suboxone is just like synthetic heroin, okay? First and foremost, if I was doing synthetic heroin, I wouldn't be sitting here today trying to talk to y'all about recovery, okay? I would be out there getting it, okay? I'd be out there selling my ass, all right? Suboxone is nowhere close to being on heroin, okay? And those are the ignorant comments that so many of us have to deal with. Hey, Amber, and it makes me sick. It makes me sick for the newcomers who are struggling to get on medication-assisted treatment because they have been trying to get off fentanyl, and that's the only thing that they have faith in that will work for them. And then they go to get support from people in recovery, and they hear people saying, you might as well be on heroin. Suboxone is just like fentanyl. Don't get those liquid handcuffs. We have to think about the things that we're saying before we say them. Do you know how many people in recovery say these things to people and it affects them? Let me tell y'all a story. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was on a subreddit on Reddit, and it was a Suboxone subreddit. And there was a girl that came in there, and she was telling us a story about one of her sponsees that was on Suboxone. One of her sponsees that was on Suboxone had a friend who was also on Suboxone and got honest with their sponsor and said, hey, sponsor, I'm on Suboxone. I want to be honest with you about it. Will you please still work the 12 steps with me? And her sponsor decided to fire her and say, when you get off Suboxone, then I'll take you through the steps. But as far as I'm concerned, you're still using. And that young lady went out and relapsed and died the next day. And so every time I ever hear somebody say something about Suboxone not being in recovery, Suboxone being the same thing as fentanyl or heroin, I always think about that girl whose sponsor fired her and would not work her through the 12 steps because she was on medication-assisted treatment. Okay? Medication-assisted treatment is monitored, okay? Monitored by your doctor, okay? You're not just like walking around eating fucking strips all day long and drinking fucking methadone shots. You're monitored strictly by a physician, okay? I think about her all the time, and I think about the countless other men and women who have gone through this same exact situation and have been shamed out of the rooms because of their medication-assisted treatment. And that's not acceptable, okay? That's not acceptable. So besides being in the rooms, where else have you guys been told that being on Suboxone or methadone is not recovery? How many of you guys are dealing with family members who are trying to shun you and push you away from being on MAT and force you to get off? Do any of you guys want to come up here and share about, experiences that you've had with your family members who don't believe in your recovery because you're on MAT? Anybody? You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to be embarrassed. I totally understand. I've been there. Like I said, I'm very fortunate. I'm going to put the link right here in the chat again. All you have to do is click that link. Jill just brought up a great point. She said the family and the courts. I got another story time for y'all. So you guys know me and my husband had to fight for custody of our son from CPS. Well, we got all the way through our court case, and then right at the end where they were about to reunify with us, the attorney ad litem tried to pull a fast one and say that we couldn't be reunified with our son unless we got off Suboxone because we still weren't in recovery. And baby, don't y'all already know? I got my nurse, I got my doctor, I got my psychiatrist, I got my mom and dad, I got his mom and dad, I got my sponsor to come up there and to teach and preach on our behalf and say, Nicole and Neil are different people now. The Nicole and Neil that we knew in active addiction, they couldn't hold a job. The Nicole and Neil that we knew in active addiction were homeless. Okay? The Nicole and Neil that we knew when they were getting high were stealing, lying, and cheating. The Nicole and Neil that we knew couldn't keep their eyes open at the dinner table. And we sit here before you with two people with their heads screwed on straight who've been fighting for their child, you know? And so here in Arkansas, I think me and Neil were one of the first people to actually come through and be able to utilize Suboxone as part of our sobriety against the courts. It was huge, you guys, huge. If there was MAP for alcoholic and meth, they wouldn't be judging. Exactly, no cap. Exactly. And see, there is one for alcohol. It's the antabuse naltrexone Vivitrol, right? Now, methamphetamine, I know that they're working on something, and it is bupropion, which is Wellbutrin, and naltrexone, which is Contrave, and they're using that to treat people that have meth addiction, but I don't even think it's the same thing. Okay? So, and it maybe when she tells you, hell yeah, that's what's up. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Zach says overprescribed overall. Zach, I don't think it's overprescribed, sweetheart, at all. I think a lot of people have never been given the option to be on MAT. Down here in the South, like I said, I went to 6 different rehabs for over 10 years spanned and was never even given an option. I didn't even know what Suboxone was until I had tried it in my active addiction. But I still didn't know that it was like a treatment that I could get to get help. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, when they say things like, oh, it's overprescribed, they don't understand so many of us who did not ever have access or an option to utilize it. You know, in the past month, I was judged at an NA meeting with me doing the best I have my whole life and was told it wasn't welcome there. And I have almost 6 years in. It's the only meeting around here too. So yeah, girl, you don't need to go there anymore, recovery princess. Here's the thing. When you go to meetings like that, you guys, and people come say things like this to you, I'm going to tell y'all something right now. They do not have your best interest at heart. Okay, somebody who has your best interest at heart isn't going to downgrade you for choosing a life-saving treatment. Okay, Suboxone and Methadone are life-saving treatments. Now, how many of you guys watched episode 7 of Dope Sick last night? Last night in episode 7 of Dope Sick, they talked about Suboxone and they talked about Methadone. Okay, Dr. Phoenix was on Methadone. He decided to change to Suboxone because it was a new medication that they were sharing about to help people get off of dope, to get off of the pills, Oxycontin, okay? And so he was able to get on Suboxone, and he was going to help Betsy to get on Suboxone also. All right? In episode 7 of Dope Sick, the doctor talked about it right there, plain as day. Doing opiates changes the chemistry of your brain, and it can take years after you get sober for your brain to heal. Okay? It can take years. Oh, opiates affect the brain differently than any drug. Okay? Any drug. Here you go. Join stream. There you go. I want y'all to come up and share. There you go. Opiates affect your brain different than any drug, you guys. All right? Any drug. It's horrible. It's horrible, and it's depressing that people don't understand that. So in that movie, they talk about how it can be up to 2 years before your brain starts healing, right? While you're on Suboxone, you guys, you can start making steps and repairing the neural pathways in your brain by changing the way you think, changing your behaviors, And healing. I want to look something up really bad. So, okay. If opiates affect our brain so drastically, right? And it's so hard for so many people to get off of opiates, then why wouldn't people want us to have a treatment that could help us change our lives? You know, that's why. Okay, that's why so many people are utilizing MAT. I want to read something to you guys, okay? Do y'all mind if I do that? Okay, here we go. The neurobiology of opioid dependence, okay? Opioid tolerance, dependence, and addiction are all manifestations of brain changes resulting from chronic opioid abuse. The opioid abuser's struggle for recovery is in great part a struggle to overcome the effects of these changes. Medications such as methadone, buprenorphine, and naltrexone act on the same brain structures and processes as opioids, but with protective or normalizing effects. Despite the effectiveness of medications, they must be used in conjunction with appropriate psychosocial treatments. While the individual patient rather than his or her disease is the appropriate focus of treatment for opioid abuse, an understanding of neurobiology of dependence and addiction can be invaluable to the clinician. It can provide insight about patients' behaviors and problems, help them define realistic expectations, and clarify the rationales for treatment methods and goals. As well, patients who are informed about the brain origins of addiction can benefit from understanding that their illness has a biological basis and does not mean they are bad people. Are y'all listening? Brain abnormalities resulting from chronic use of heroin, oxycodone, and other morphine-derived drugs are underlying causes of opioid dependence, the need to keep taking drugs to avoid a withdrawal syndrome, and addiction, intense drug craving, and compulsive use. The abnormalities that produce dependence, well understood by science, appear to resolve after detoxification within days or weeks after opioid use stops. The abnormalities that produce addiction, however, are more wide-ranging, complex, and long-lasting. They may involve an interaction of environmental effects, for example, stress, the social context of initial opioid use, and psychological conditioning, and a genetic predisposition in the form of brain pathways that were abnormal even before the first dose of opioid was taken. Such abnormalities can produce craving that lead to relapse months or years after individual is no longer opioid dependent. Okay, in this article, we describe how opioids affect the brain process to produce drug liking, tolerance, dependence, and addiction. While these processes, like everything else that happen in the brain, are highly complex, we try to explain them in terms that can be easily understood and explained to patients. Okay? Okay. I want to read this whole thing to you, but I want to go down to the brain part. Okay? So hold on just a second. This is good. I'll link this so y'all can read it too. That's what I'll do. I'll link it so you guys can read it. That's what I'll do. This is great. Okay. Let me see what y'all are saying. In the episode that you're at now in Dope Sick, is the doctor still addicted? That was in rehab. Yes. So the doctor gets on, he's not addicted to illicit drugs anymore. He gets on MAT. He gets on methadone. And he is able to turn his life around, and he's going to get his medical license back. Okay. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys, let me copy this, is because I want you guys to understand that, like, if you're thinking, why haven't I been able to do this? Why haven't I been able to get sober? Why am I such a loser? I keep on relapsing. I keep going back. I want you to understand that you're literally fighting. This is not, it's not easy. Okay. It's not easy getting sober from opiates. Okay. It's not easy. It's not easy getting sober from any drug or alcohol, but I really want y'all to understand that, like, You have a sickness and your brain has been affected. And I'm not trying to make excuses for you, but I think a lot of you guys don't understand that, you know? I am a hair twirler. I'm sure you was hurt, girl. People are so judgmental. Oh, yeah. I don't have any procession in quitting it because I had it well. I had to deal with all this shit just by myself. Hey, what's up, Suzej? I don't want to say her name wrong. That's a cool name. Let me link this article so you guys can read it too. But if you understand the disease of addiction and you understand what's going on in your brain, the more you understand, the more you can fight it. Okay? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. So whenever you guys are struggling and you're thinking, I'm never going to be able to do this, I'm never going to be able to get sober, okay? Just know this. You got to start finding and educating yourself, okay? Start educating yourself on the disease of addiction. Start educating yourself how relapse prevention works. So that way, guess what? You can fight these things. That's why we did a whole thing on how to prevent relapse here on my YouTube channel. In fact, you know what I'm doing? Here is the link to join the stream, you guys. If you want to come up and share, come up and share. Cindy, Alicia, Amy, Candy, Colin, come in and share. Come up and share. Okay. So, I used to beat myself up so much. And then I realized, like, I'm literally fighting a war, you know? I'm fighting against myself. And that's what it's like when you have the disease of addiction. It's like you have this one Nicole who's like sober and knows how to do the right thing and knows that she wants to keep her recovery and take care of her kid. And then you have this sneaky little devil Nicole over here who wants relief and gets depressed and gets a lot of hate. And when she gets hate, she wants to hide out. And those things lead her back to her addiction. You know, I was thinking last night, I was sitting here on my bed and I was thinking about how a lot of people don't even know how that they don't even understand what it's like to be someone who has I guess you could call a public figure. I don't even like saying that, you guys, because I don't think of myself as like a public figure, but I guess I am. And have people like trying to ruin your life and trying to hurt you and harm you. But you're also just trying to stay sober. Hey, Param, you're also just trying to stay sober and all you're trying to do is help other people. But at the same time, these people that don't like you are trying to hurt you. And I'm just trying to stay sober. Like, I'm just like you guys. Like, I don't think that I'm a teacher. I don't think that I'm a counselor. I don't think that I'm like above you on some pedestal. I'm just trying to share what works for me and share what I'm learning along my journey with you. You know what I'm saying? And I want you guys to get excited. I want you guys to want to be sober. I want you guys to want to turn your lives around. And so the only way I know how to help you to want that is by sharing and getting you excited and showing my passion for helping others. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ready for friends yet. I am scared it might lead to something. I don't feel ready. All my old friends use. Diana, that's a really good point that you bring up. Okay. So I totally understand. So what do you guys, what do you do if you are sober and you're not ready to have friends yet? What do you do? How are you supposed to be okay and stay sober and just be alone all the time? You can't be alone all the time. So what you got to do is do things like you guys are doing now and come to the group meetings and come connect with each other online if you don't trust yourself going out in the real world yet. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, you guys, like, I was so nervous to go on the trip with my boss. Okay. I was so nervous to go on the trip with my boss last week to Tennessee, but you guys, I went and I had such a great time. I went bar hopping with my boss and I was in all these different bars in Nashville, Tennessee. And I came back sober. I came back healthy. And listen, I don't recommend that. I don't recommend going to bars if you're in recovery. I've been sober for 6 years, and it was a little tempting for me, you know, but I had a good time and I was able to stay sober. And that's what it's all about. Have any of you ever felt like you was living the addicted life? Life just without drugs, like some of the old behaviors that you had still come up here and there. How do I deal with it? That is a great question, Amy. So, Amy, recovery is not just about taking away the drugs and the alcohol. Recovery is about healing from the inside out. Have you guys ever heard the saying that recovery is an inside job, an inside out job? That's what they're referring to. Okay, so whenever, and this is what I think you should do. For those of you guys that are like, Nicole, I don't even know where to begin. I'm just getting sober. I don't know how to act right. Then this is what you do, okay? You need to find a sponsor, a mentor, or an accountability partner, okay? I'm not saying that you have to do AA or NA, but you need to find a sponsor, an accountability partner, or a mentor, okay? Because this person is going to help you change your behaviors. One of the things that I struggled with when I first got sober in 2015 was for the first 6 months of my sobriety, I couldn't keep my sticky fingers off of anything. I'd walk into the Walmart and it was like, all this stuff would just stick to my fingers. And I would walk out with a new outfit, some new makeup, some new lip gloss, everything. It was like kleptomania, right? And I remember talking to my sponsor and saying, I cannot stop stealing. And she looked at me and she said, that's old behavior. Old behavior will lead you back out. Okay? So I had to start addressing the issue. Why am I stealing? I was stealing because I liked the rush. Stealing stuff and getting away with it was like getting high without the drugs. Okay? So think, whatever you're doing, whatever behavior you're doing, okay? I want you to ask yourself, why am I doing this behavior? Why am I doing this behavior? What is this doing for me? A lot of the times it's because it's giving you something. It might be giving you relief. It might be giving you high. That's what's going on. And so here's another behavior that I see happen a lot in recovery, okay? Gossiping, talking behind each other's backs, okay? This is one thing that I see happen so much in early recovery, and this is old behavior also, right? And so a lot of times the reason why we will be gossiping is because we want to be accepted. We have a fear of rejection. We want to fit in. We want to be a part of. Remember, that person who's gossiping to you about me will be gossiping about you to me later on that night. Remember that. That's what I have learned. Being on social media, have learned this the most, is that people will come and gas me up and say, oh, Nicole, you're so amazing. I love you. You help me so much. And then 2 minutes later, they'll be in somebody else's comment section saying, I can't stand Nicole. She's such a fake ass bitch. And I see it all the time. In fact, yesterday was one of the times where I seen it and it really hurt the most, because the people that I saw doing it were people that I really thought were my supporters, people who I have their personal cell phone numbers. And I was like, damn, man, reality, that hurt, you know? Yep. It happens all the time. And they'll say how much they love me right to my face, and then in the same breath be fucking spitting on my name. And that's why, y'all, I'm telling you right now, I do my thing right here. I'm working to do this because I enjoy doing it, because it helps me stay sober. Okay? It helps me stay sober. That's why I do what I do. but I'm not taking anybody with me. I'm not giving anybody free rides. I'm not getting nothing like that, because people literally spit on my name daily, especially on TikTok. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. And I truly believe because it's young kids, you know? So anyways, back at it. So let's get back to our unsolicited advice about MAT, right? And so how many of you guys are struggling with having a loved one, a family member, a husband or wife, brother or sister, kind of like giving you pressure that you need to get off your medication-assisted treatment? Are any of you guys going through that right now? I was never an alcoholic. I used heroin. I drink when I go out to dinner with my wife. I don't find anything wrong with it. What do you think? Oh, that's a great question, No Cap. So No Cap says, I was never an alcoholic. I used heroin. I drink when I go out to dinner with my wife, and I don't find anything wrong with it. What do you think? Okay, so No Cap, this is what I think, all right? If it doesn't make you want to drink alcohol or do heroin, then that's fine. What I suggest, okay, No Cap, what I suggest is that you at least have 1 year sober without drinking or anything, okay? And if you want to drink, at dinner after that, then that's fine, and you can handle it. But I really would suggest just maintaining that first year sober without, drinking alcohol or anything like that, just so that way you have a good, steady foundation. I know many people who can drink alcohol and just drink it, like you said, have a glass of wine at dinner or a beer on the 4th of July, and it's nothing like that, But then I also know some people who said that, and then they get a couple beers in them, and the next thing you know, they're snorting lines of methamphetamine off strippers' asses, okay? Okay, so they don't know because they've never, that this is all new to them. I wasn't an alcoholic, but it always leads me back to my drug of choice. Yeah, and here's the thing, you guys. Like, I can have one drink and not go out to use drugs, but because I'm weary, I just choose not to do it because I'm weary, and I don't want to make a mistake and I hurt myself. Were you calling? I'm so proud of you for getting sober. Oh, hey, Tiffany. Tiffany's here, y'all. Hey, girl.
Hey, so I kind of wanted to share on my whole how I ended up I'm kind of Cali sober, I guess what you call it, right? So I smoke marijuana, and I got a lot of slack from my family at the beginning. It was worse than if they almost made it sound like I was literally still using needles, I was always so much better. I'm not but still we're oh, well, you're doing drugs now. And I'm I don't know. And it really bothered me because I just felt I'm actually I was learning things about myself. I was working on myself. I was doing therapy, but I was still smoking weed. And mind you, I'm not going to lie, I smoke a lot of it. I'm I wouldn't sit here and lie to you guys. It's not who I am. But I do and I do have the odd drink. I'm the same, somebody said they weren't an alcoholic, but they have the odd drink. I was doing that for a while. But when my husband went away to work, I found myself wanting to drink myself to sleep out of loneliness. So I stopped that because I was you know what, this is going to become a real pattern and a real problem,
Right.
So now I've just kind of decided that rather when my husband goes away to work, I'm going to hang out with you guys because that's why I'm here tonight. Because this is his first night away. And I was you know what? I need to be somewhere sober. So
yeah. So tell me this, you say you smoke a lot of the ganja, you smoke a lot of weed. So do you see well, man, I'm smoking a lot of weed. I'm really, really using it, but I'm smoking a lot. I need to cut back. Do you ever think like that?
I struggle to think like that.
Yeah. And it's because here's what I have no, I support you if you smoke weed. I don't smoke because I can't. But what I always ask my people that do smoke weed is I ask them, are you using the medical marijuana as an escape? Are you using it as an escape to not deal with your problems? You know?
I think, actually, I think what I use it for is I struggle with really bad disassociation, and my thoughts get so out of control that like I'm thinking the worst about myself, like, and then I find when I smoke it that those obsessive thoughts go away, but then I can start focusing on other things like going to the gym, getting my kids lunches packed. Like I couldn't even do that stuff, before. I couldn't get my kids lunches packed. I couldn't even focus on the littlest things in their life, cleaning their rooms with them, because I was so lost, in my thoughts all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And with the other drugs, I was like, that was just even worse. But when I find when I don't smoke it, I'm lost with my thoughts, and then I can't do anything, and I'm just sat there. So like, I don't know, that I think it's, I don't know if I'm making excuses for myself, but
see, listen to me, and I'm not like trying to bust your balls, but I have to even say that about myself. Like I've been on suboxone for 6 years, and I really want to taper. And what happens is, for the longest time, I was like drawing it out because I was scared. Mm-hmm. I mean, who wants to be without it? It has helped me for so long, Yeah. So I totally understand.
My husband's on MAT too, and it's hard for him to get off because the pattern in the past, now mind you, he's been to treatment now since he's tried to get off, but he's very low on his dose now. He's on methadone, but he's like down to, like, he was at like 130, when he went into treatment, and now he's down to like 24. But like the pattern was before that every time he'd get down to a certain level, he'd start drinking, and then he'd start using, and it would just go to that same fucking pattern. But I've noticed now he's not so like, oh, I have to get off it. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to stay here for a while because I feel pretty comfortable, and he wants to just sail and do good in life. I do support MAT. I do. I think it's amazing. I've seen it not, and I've seen the opposite too, right, where people use it just to get fucking high. But at the end of the day, I always look at it like, well, at least they're going to a doctor and not robbing fucking the store, you know what I mean? Like, I just
yeah, absolutely. And I think that with medical marijuana, like, it's just such an, honestly, marijuana maintenance has been around like for such a long time, but as far as like the recovery community online, I feel like a lot of people in recovery are just now getting to a point where we're like more accepting of multiple pathways to recovery. Like we support medical marijuana, we support kratom, we support MAT, because there was a time where like nobody supported suboxone and methadone, and everybody would tell you weren't in recovery, My
husband's been on it since 2007, and fuck, yeah, you take so much flack for it. Like, it's awful.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, girl. I know. Neil got on suboxone like in 2003 or 4, whenever I guess they had first really started giving it to people, and he was like in a trial to get on it. And so the recovery community, I feel like online has come such a long way. Now, where I live in the South, it's still the same as it is everywhere, like as in closed-mindedness. Like people are just not as open-minded as they are online,
Same here. We have so many. I just noticed that the other day when I made a Facebook post, and a couple people from the area commented. I was like, fucking close-minded people in the world. Like, and I didn't realize they're just right in my backyard,
Yeah. I say as long as you're like, this is my thing.
Okay.
As long as you are in your right mind, this is what I truly believe. You're not loaded all the time. You're in your right mind. You're trying to make positive changes in your life, and you're trying to grow and be better than you were the day before. That is recovery to me. And you're always trying to do better than the day before. Be a better person.
Is exactly what I'm doing. Like, I'm always going to meetings. I'm steady taking care of like my daily needs. You know, I just last week I went to a meeting and I realized that organization was something that was really, it's causing me chaos. And you know, this week I got organized. So I can see the small progress, and like I'm starting to get excited about the little steps too, you know, because all those little things, like before you were like, you know, you want instant success, you know what I mean? Like when you're using I think
Yeah.
addicts can relate to that, right? That instant success that you just, and then you don't get it, you feel like you're failing. So I'm starting to feel proud and of the small rewards, you know, and seeing them pay off. Yeah.
I want instant success in losing my weight. Damn it.
I know.
I feel like my face looks skinnier for some reason in this computer. I don't know. Anyway.
It looked great. And it's funny when I was bigger too, I think that, you know, I seen it more than anyone else seen it. You know, like it's such a you, like it's so in your head. And but I also wanted the instant success, but I realized I had to like change small things. And you know what helped for me is somebody always told me to pick one thing and stick with it. Don't pick 15 things. So if you're just going to make a small change to, rather than eat that bag of chips at night, eat an extra healthy piece of chicken.
Yeah.
If that one small change will make it the small, and you know, you recovered from addiction. So you know small changes, right? Like, and it, yeah, that's the one thing that always sticks with me. And it always is in my head. Pick one thing this week and stick with it. And that's it. And then like 5 more choices will follow. It's so weird.
One of the things that helps me a lot is drinking water all the time.
Yeah.
Drinking water. I always have me a thing of water.
Yeah, it is honestly the best because it can fill you up too.
Yeah. Totally. I support your medical marijuana though, girl, just as long as you ain't blazing 24/7.
Well, I sleep.
I can't do marijuana because I will be sleeping and eating all the time.
I know.
That's all I'll do.
I used to eat all day long when I didn't smoke it, so I feel like now it doesn't make me eat, which is weird.
That's crazy. I wish it had that effect on me, honey.
But sometimes it does. Like I will sometimes get like the munchies, and then I'm learned, like I've got better habits now that I picked up from the weight loss, you know. So it just Thanks for letting me share.
Okay, girl, I love you. Thanks for coming up and sharing. I really appreciate you.
No problem.
Bye, girl. I hallucinate on weed. Damn, girl. My sister does too. My sister Michelle does too. She has bipolar, and it just like really messes with her. But like I support you guys that are utilizing medical marijuana. Just like I said, I just think that you need to be mindful. Like, am I taking this all the time? Am I using this to not be a present? Think about those kind of things, because you know you want. If you're utilizing it and it helps you stay sober, yeah, hell yeah. Just be mindful, you know, be mindful. And I think y'all will be fine. I support you 100%. So yeah, I saw your comment. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. People who really do support me don't get a chance to be my friend because I have my guard up. And it's unfortunate, but that's how it has to be, because I cannot tell you guys how many times I've had people who were like, I'm the real deal. I really care about you. I really want to be your friend. I really do this. I did it. And then they literally burned me so bad. So bad. And so I hate that it's like that, but it's like, I hate it. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you have to really prove yourself to me, because I have been burned so bad. And it hurts, because I go out of my way to help everybody. You know, I go out of my way to help everybody. I go out of my way to encourage people. Like you guys here see how it is here. I'm not charging you money. I'm not over here begging you guys to send me donations. We never do that. This is about recovery. This is about helping each other. This is about lifting each other up. This is about talking and conversating about sobriety, and having like-minded individuals around us. All of you guys are like-minded. You guys are getting to know each other, you know? I know so many people who utilize their platform to suck their audience dry and to manipulate their audience. And all I try to do on here is help people. That's it. So I know it sucks. I'm so sorry that it's like that. It sucks. Maybe I'll let my guard down and it'll be different. I always do, because that's what I do. This is what I do, you guys. What I'll do is I will let my guard down, and then I'll let 5 people in, and then I'll put it back up, and then I'll get burned, and then I'll say never again, and then I'll let it get down again. And so it's just a process, but if I talk to you on Messenger and you reach out to me and I message you back, I try to get back to all of you guys that do message me. Hey, Dr. B, what's up? I try to get back to you guys, all of you guys that message me. And when I can't get back to you right away, it's not because I don't want to get back to you. I promise you I'm making my way down the list, Yeah, come on, Dr. B. You know what to do. Click the link. Here's the link. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Click the link and I'll bring you up. Or I can text it to you. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm texting you the link, Doctor. Oh, there you are. Who it is?
Nicole, I am.
Okay, hold on. I'm texting you the link, Doctor. Oh, there you are.
I'm not gonna stay on long.
Oh, Dr. B, hold on a second. Lower me wherever you have me at. Lower me.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. I was just gonna say I won't stay on long, but this is me trying to get back into. I've been really busy the last few weeks, and I missed you, and I was like, you know what, this is a good way for me to take everything I'm doing and get back on. How are you?
I'm doing good. I want to talk to you now that since you're here. What we're talking about is unsolicited advice from loved ones, family members about our medication-assisted treatment. That brother or sister who says, or family member like husband or wife that says, don't you think you've been on Suboxone long enough? Isn't it about time that you get off your medication? Because so many of us have experienced that and gone through that. And one of the girls asked for us to talk about it tonight. Do you have a lot of people that come through that are on Suboxone that are getting kind of picked on by their family members about being on it?
It's a great topic. And God, I wish we should have done the live Monday. Again, you know what my life has been the last couple of months, and I'm committed to getting back on. Hi, Diane. So here's my thoughts on that. It's a great topic you're addressing, and for all you guys out there, and I'm not going to stay on long. So when a new patient comes to me, okay, especially the very severe hardcore addicts, and I deal with all, as you know, what we deal with, homeless to the super rich, whatever. But the ones that are really down and out, they often come with a whole host of information themselves that is wrong about medication-assisted treatment, what it means to get that medicine, the dosing, how long you should be on it. So the first thing I do in my setting, I have Hunter here helping me out with some stuff. So first thing I do is I educate folks about it, and that's kind of the space I operate in. And then when these sorts of questions come up, for example, in fact, a great question. I had a couple of Persian folks in yesterday, a husband and a wife. And the husband is a Iran-Iraq war veteran, hardcore opium addict in Iran, came here, was off for a while. They discovered heroin, and now it's fentanyl, a little bit of meth. And they're not very. He's a bit provincial, right? And since it's my culture, I understand they're not big on specifics, and he doesn't care what I say, and he's not even listening to me. He's been trying to come in since June. Comes in, gets 7 days worth, is supposed to come back, never comes back. So now he showed up 20, 30 pounds lighter. This time he showed up with the wife, sweetest lady, right? And again, the first question she's asking is when should I get off? And my response to the patient and the family members, whoever, is for this. Uh, I explain the answer, and then they start asking other questions. It's not just about, hey, you should get out, but just crappy information advice. Find that in general unethical. This is a You don't see somebody giving you advice about Coumadin. Do family members and friends give advice about blood thinner? Well, they'll kill you. Okay, and I think people should really take account of themselves when they're giving advice about that stuff, Nicole. And I just simply tell them, I don't care if it comes from God, with all due respect to whoever takes that to be offensive. Uh, you come in here and talk to me, and I drive the bus for the next few months. Then I start to scoot over. You take over. Do not listen, and especially with the young cats that are coming in from these treatment centers, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars that fail. And you know that, well,
Yep.
I don't know in Arkansas what it looks like, but it's a subculture here. And no suboxone. I said, anybody who has anything to say to you, do not listen to them. And if you live in that environment where this kind of thing is occurring, keep it to yourself. There's nothing wrong with being on this stuff. Keep it to yourself so you don't get this sort of unsolicited advice if you don't have the strength to make your own decision and understand. And this is about really the typical addict is already a traumatized patient from their life who doesn't have boundaries and is a people pleaser at many times and wants to make people happy. And so they take that kind of thing, especially when it's coming from family members. Oh my, they're embarrassed about continuing.
Yeah.
I give them many options. Come in, have that person come in, but just tell them thank you very much. I'm going to talk about my doctor, and in the case that's outside of the clinical with the addict, I would say do the same thing. And I find this to be part of recovery, Nicole. And you're way down the line for that. But those that are in a much more precarious space and struggling in some ways, I would say this is part of your recovery. Can you stick to and follow the directions of the health professional? Can you make your own decision and be comfortable with it and move forward? And if that friend or family member still gives you shit, or if they still create difficulty for you in your own mind, it's no different than abuse, emotional or physical. You just have to cut that person off and be comfortable with it. And
Yep.
that's my thoughts on that, Nicole.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Because I can remember people like when I was at like 1 or 2 years of being on Suboxone, people like bullying me and trying to get me to get off of it. People that I didn't even know, that were just people from the internet. You know what I mean? And that's what I have to ask myself: like, does this person really have my best interest at heart? If they're telling me I need to jump off of my medication cold turkey, like I could relapse and go out and die. I have to tell you something. Diana's brother's coming to see us tomorrow for his recovery.
What time is he coming?
He's going to be in at 2 tomorrow. And I'm so excited. I've been trying to get him in for a long time.
Is he coming from down south?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's exciting. I'll try and pop. If Diana, tell him to be on. I think she's down here. Tell him to be on time.
Yeah, she's in here.
I'll try and pop in and see him. This is great. Hey guys, Nicole is. Missy said something about her group. I thought that was interesting. Bright Heart Health.
Yeah, they're playing our videos in their groups.
What is Bright Heart Health?
It's a Suboxone treatment program.
Where?
I think it's a telehealth program. Missy, where's it at? And let me ask you this one thing for Amy. She asked her doctor what she thought about going to Suboxone to the naltrexone shot, and her doctor told her that her patients aren't very successful on the naltrexone shot. What's your opinion?
You're sucking me into this. Okay. So here, and I don't want to take up your time and space here either, Nicole. I wanted to come in and give you a shout out and tell everybody out there how amazing Nicole is. And I just, by the way, as a side thing, I should do this tomorrow. I was just I just got some sort of recognition as opiate hero of the month for some coalition in Orange County, and I think they were kind of asking me who's out there doing work. I'm going to give these guys a call tomorrow and tell them about you.
Oh,
You
thank you.
reminded me of that. So here's my thoughts on that. Um, her doctor may or may not be right. He's probably right because that's the right answer 90% of the time. Who's asking that, Amy? You said?
Amy?
Yeah. So is she here?
Yes.
Yeah. So Amy, my thoughts on it is I don't have the answer because I don't know your particular case. Uh, but my thoughts on that is be very careful. It's a very see. You got to understand as much as it's difficult to understand me. But if we say this is a drug, okay, I'm a medical doctor, so I'm a dummy. All I do is push drugs. Okay, yes and no, because I take extreme care in when, what, and how much I push. But these drugs are produced by companies that are for profit companies. And when we're talking about, let's say, Vivitrol, okay, they got to recover their creating that drug. The drug's been around, but creating the technology of the depot and all that crap. And so, how do you do that? You don't go out there and do a very good evidence-based research and say, hey, this drug is good in this situation, and this situation comes up 1 out of 10 times. They can't do that. They're going to go broke. Okay, so it's pushed. That being said, it's up to the clinician and to a great extent to the patient to really the clinician to understand when this drug is good. How does this relate to you, Amy? It really depends on, here's the list of things to consider. How long you were using, how long you've been on Suboxone. Why do you want to get off of it? How quickly do you want to get off of it? Is it time in the sense that has your markers, metrics in your psychological and social life improved where you can now start tapering, getting off of it? You do not get off of Suboxone and jump over to naltrexone or whatever you want to call it, Vivitrol, because now you're looking for disaster. What you can do is, if you're really in a position to consider uh, getting away from Suboxone, is maybe a very slow, sober-minded physician assisted. And Nicole had a great doctor. In fact, I picked up a tidbit from her and I use it now. But maybe you can taper back from 12 milligrams a day to 10 milligrams a day. Okay. Now, when would I use naltrexone in that particular case when someone's been on it? There's the other situations I may use it, but it would be this. Let's say Nicole gets down to the bottom, and let's say she's been on Suboxone for 6 or 7 years, and she's getting off. Suboxone, there is absolutely, the physiological dependence. And she was slamming heroin, let's say, for example, 15 years before that. And she would come to me and say, wow, I can't believe we're at the bottom of this. I have some anxiety about it, even though I don't have any physical withdrawals. Then I would say, is that anxiety from the withdrawals or not? And if I realize it's true supratentorial anxiety, I would say, I'll tell you what, Nicole, let's do this. Now that we're about to jump off, when we get to that last dose, let's throw on the Vivitrol shot. Let's do it for 1 to 2 months. Insurance is paying for it. A, it gives you a little bit of a security blanket. B, for those that argue, it actually is covering the receptor, so you might actually get some benefits in terms of it feels like there's some Suboxone on it, even though many argue, hey, it takes care of cravings and withdrawals. It doesn't in any clinically significant sense, but it can in this case. And now we have a series of good decisions, mainly a small crutch to get off when you're at that tail end. And this is how I would do it, guys. One of the situations I would do it. Every decision, Nicole, from a clinical perspective, clinician, everything you do even if when you say hello to the patient and the way you say it and the way you address should evaluate the risk and benefit for that particular patient. Because when they see you in a white coat, uh, there is an authoritative expectation of categorical right. What I mean is what you say matters. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're in that situation, if you even say the wrong thing, you could cause more harm than good. And this is something again that's forgotten. In this particular case, when these medications are dished out, it should be explained to the patient exactly why not, what are the risks, what are the benefits. Now you've educated, recruit the patient. At that point, give them free will and autonomy as a human agent to make their own decision with your advice, which should be documented. So there is my quasi short answer to Vivitrol shot.
Thanks, Dr. B. You need to come on and do a video with me, like scheduled, though. Okay.
Yeah. And in fact, I was so bummed out when I finally looked Monday, and I missed it.
I want to come out to California in January and do the last bit of my suboxone taper with you and jump off and like I want to film it and I want to show people how it is for me and what I go through and all that kind of stuff.
We'll have a great. I mean that's your choice, not mine. I categorically.
Yeah, I want to do that, and I want to use because I want to show people what I go through, but I want to be in care either at a detox or with you because I don't trust myself to come off by myself.
No, come on, and it will be a cakewalk when that time comes. If you choose to film it, go right ahead, and it will be. We'll have a good time with it.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm down. Okay, I won't hang you on here anymore. Holler at me later, okay?
Hey, guys, enjoy. It was great to see everybody. I see everybody saying hello. You guys have an amazing community, and all of you guys that are joining on and helping Nicole and really spreading good message. Very few people, very clinicians, it's getting to be more and more. But what I have noticed since I have met Nicole and her tireless effort, and for some reason she maybe should have been a doctor. She just gets certain things easily. But let me tell you guys, all of you, and I have to give a lot of kudos to Nicole. Without having any formal tools at her disposal or great money, I notice, I see, there's thousands of you that interact with Nicole. Single-handedly, she is educating, giving moral support, giving emotional support. Be good, kiddo. And it's amazing. Well, she is part of the front of moving the stigma, educating, and it's just weird to me what's occurring. And it gives you faith in the concepts of grassroots and standing up for what is right. So, Nicole and all of you guys that do this, understand whether someone tells you or not, or whether someone tells you, Nicole. And I ignore you often, Nicole, as I'm get busy. And the reason I do is I don't need to worry about what you're doing because everything you do is right on the money. So you get to get ignored. But every one of you should know that you are making huge differences, strides. And I always find value, and it's always been sort of a thought that's obsessed me, is I like my work to be meaningful, and I like leaving things behind. And I recently read an article in Harvard Business Review. Those of you familiar with it, that's sort of the pinnacle of thought and critical thinking in business and finance. And a guy was talking about management, and he made that point. He said, make your life worth something. If you're going for the short-term profit, it probably isn't going to work. Think about your moral compass, and when you go to bed at night, And let me tell you, Nicole, you have made an impact out there, and so have every one of you for, Diana, the kind of work she's doing. It's pretty bad. Every one of you, it's badass. I don't know everyone's name. I'm often caught up with my own bullshit, but it is happening, and the universe sees it. Okay, guys?
Thank you, Dr. B.
And
I needed to hear that today because
Uh,
I've been struggling so much. So thank you so much. Thank you.
no, yeah, you're great. You guys all kick ass. It's always nice to see Diana. And I see so many names here that I'm like, wow, I know all these people. This is so cool. So you guys all kick ass. And sometimes the world doesn't even know your names, but you have saved a life and improved a life. And last piece of this, if you sit here and do what I do, which makes me kind of weird, I think about the unborn children or the children that I don't know and their children. And people have such little understanding of the impact on future lives in an exponential way, and how development and cognitive and emotional and behavioral and education is affected by all of this. There's going to be a resonation. It's going to resonate in the universe or on in our lives what you do, Nicole, and what everyone here does. Okay, guys. Peace. Good night. I am going to try and get some work done with my ADD. This is a lot funner. And take it home, Nicole. Bye, guys.
Bye, Dr. B.
Okay.
I needed to hear that tonight, you guys. I really needed to hear that because I have been struggling so much with just people who are just being ugly to me. And sometimes I think, like, are my efforts going unnoticed? Do people not see that I really do care about helping people? And when I just really needed to hear that, I just really needed to hear that because I work so hard to try and help other people. And like I said, I don't get paid to do that. Like, this is what I like to do because I enjoy doing this, it just makes me so sad that I have to even deal with the negativity. But I just want you guys to know, like, I had no idea Dr. B was going to come on. He totally caught me off guard. And I really just needed to have that reassurance because I work so hard and I want to just help so many people. And having that reassurance from my boss just makes it that much better, So anyway, sorry about getting a little emotional. So Dr. B answered a lot of you guys' questions about, what he was saying. If you didn't really hear what he was saying about people giving you a hard time about being on Suboxone, right? Even me sharing you guys, right? Even me sharing with you guys about what I've gone through, like, I have to be careful because I don't want to influence anybody to make a decision that could be deadly to their sobriety. And just like me trying to taper off my Suboxone, like, I already know ahead of time that I need to be in the care of a physician. So that way, when I come off, I'll be safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm already thinking ahead. And as far as going from Suboxone to naltrexone, like, having a checklist, like, do I have a job? Did I get my kids back? Have I paid off my fines? Am I stable on the dose that I'm at? How's my depression going? How's my anxiety going? Like, all this different checklist before you make the big decision to change over. Let the negativity go. You don't need them outing your flame. Oh yeah, for sure. But like, sometimes I don't think you guys understand, like, what all I do, as far as, like, Dr. B and my job, and it's all the work that I really do. And so, anyways, it's just really special to me when Dr. B comes on and I'm able to sit and talk to him and he can come on here and share with you guys. And I need to get him on a planned podcast, Nicole, you are the reason why I came back from my last relapse and kept going. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. Hey, Amanda, thank you so much. I'm so glad that I could support you. Jill says, Suboxone upsets my stomach and makes me overheat so badly. I go into panic attacks. I am okay on Subutex, but I'm severely judged for this. Really? So Subutex is the same thing. It's just without the naloxone, Jill. So just so you know, Jill, a lot of people will like try to judge you, right, because you're on Subutex, because they'll say, oh, well, Subutex doesn't have the blocker in it. Well, guess what, Jill? Shows how much they know, because naloxone isn't put with naloxone. Buprenorphine is the active ingredient, and so you still have the active ingredient, which is buprenorphine, which is what keeps those other opiates from being able to access that receptor. So you being on Suboxone, being on Subutex is the same thing as being on Suboxone. Some people are allergic to the naloxone, and that sounds like that's what was happening to you, is that maybe you had an allergy to it, you know? So you're doing great. Subutex is the same thing, same thing. So there's nobody should be judging you for that, okay? And here's the thing, you guys. Here, you will never have to worry about being judged on here for being on MAT, okay? MAT, like, I totally 100% support you. I want you to pee on it as long as you need to be on it. If you want to stay on Suboxone or Subutex forever, like, I 100% support you, okay? 100%. I would never want to encourage you to make a decision that could be, detrimental to your sobriety, okay? I'm so glad you said that, because I've had people say that about Subutex. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand, like, buprenorphine is the active ingredient, you guys, and it's what keeps that other stuff from coming on to your receptor. And I learned this from a girl. She told me that the bioavailability of naloxone it's like such a small percentage, and so it is actually the buprenorphine that is the active ingredient. And so don't ever let anyone dull your shine, okay? If you're on MAT and you're staying healthy and happy and sober, that's all that matters. Just keep doing the next right thing, okay? And here's another thing. I wanted to say something really fast because I saw a couple comments. If you're coming in here and your comment is, I saw your thumbnail, it triggers me, baby, you're in the wrong place. Okay, you're in the wrong place. You don't want to be here on Real Talk Recovery. All right? If a thumbnail triggers you, you need to go back and take it way back to the beginning of your sobriety. Okay, because on the thumbnail is literally a Suboxone and Methadone. And that's what we're talking about. We're all on that medication. And so if something like that triggers you, you need to redo your recovery. It's not anyone in this chat's responsibility to be responsible for your triggers. It's not my responsibility to tap dance around your triggers. It's your responsibility to identify your triggers and learn how to work through those triggers. Carolyn says, I'm on methadone and have been for so long, I am terrified to come off of it. It works for me. I have been off of illicit drugs and other opioids for 19 years. I've been off of benzodiazepines for almost 17 years. Carolyn, then why come off? If you are doing amazing and you are happy and you're successful, then don't worry about it. Just stay on it. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what other people say. Okay? What they say doesn't matter. All right. Do what's best for you. Every single person comes to a point in their life where they have to make a decision, right? The decision is, do I stay or do I go? Right? Choose what's best for you. Don't make your decision to get off of MAT on the basis of the judgment from other people, okay? Don't let other people's opinions affect you in a negative way. Make that choice because it's something that you want to do for you in your heart, All right. That's what I have to tell myself all the time. Like, Nicole, you know, you got to do what's best for you. Don't do it because other people are telling you need to. Don't do it because you're trying to prove everybody wrong. Don't do it because you're trying to say, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. So I totally understand. I totally understand. Oh, yeah, girl, if you got chronic pain and Lyme disease and you need to be, girl, you are just fine. You need to be on pain medication anyway. So be on your MAT medication, and that keeps you safe and helps you stay sober. That's all that matters. Do not let anyone else take you down. Acting crazy in an RTR meeting is ill-advised, especially if you talk shit to Nicole. Let it be known. And like, here's the thing, you guys. Like, I totally respect everyone, right? But when you come onto my channel and you want to tell me about my thumbnail, honey, you done come up on my property, okay? Nobody invited you here. If you don't want to be on here and you don't want to look at it, then kick rocks. Right, guys? Kick rocks. We're not here to cater to everybody. We're here to help each other, and we're helping each other stay accountable and stay sober. So I really enjoyed tonight's meeting, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That last part at the end, having Dr. B pop on, was just exactly what I needed to just give me that extra boost, man, because I've just, like I said, I've been really struggling. So shout out to Dr. B. I love you, man. You're the best boss in the whole wide world. Thank you for coming on and giving me some reassurance. Thank you for coming on and sharing with everybody and giving all my audience reassurance. You guys can catch me tomorrow night. Same place, same time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, here on YouTube and on Facebook. If you guys want to submit ideas for tomorrow night's meeting topic, please DM me on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok what ideas you want me to talk about tomorrow, okay? I leave it up to you guys, and then I choose a topic, all right? All right. I love you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.